Good morning, this is John from Clock Repairs Merseyside. I just thought I'd do, while we were on the subject of springs, I just thought we'd do a short video on the type of springs now that are in the more modern Hermli clock. We don't do a lot of them, to be honest with you, and the ones we do, we often will just replace the movement. As soon as I always err on the side of caution. If anything, if I look at the movements and there's bushing work and there's things, sometimes it's just more cost effective just to replace the movement, to be honest with you. But sometimes you'll get a clock and, you know, it's okay to change the mainsprings on the clock and give it a service. The Hermli type of clocks, I've got this type of spring, as you can see in front of me here. Now, I've picked these two particularly because one has got a steel lid on it and one has got one of these brass looking lids on it. I mean, I don't think they're pure brass, to be honest with you. Obviously, I think they're some kind of mixture of something. I mean, they don't seem to be. But what I'm going to point out to you, what you need to look for on this type of clock if you do take them on for repair, because, you know, I mean, there's a bit of money in them. So, you know, why not? If you've just got to change the spring cylinders, you know, it's as long as you can do the job safely. And what I tend to do, to be honest with you, is I make sure that when we do the service and the repair on them, if there should be a problem, obviously then we're going to have to change the movements. And so obviously bear in mind, if that happens, you know, what I say to the customer is that, you know, the difference is we can do this service or we can replace the movements, and give the customer the choice. And if they say we go with, you know, I'll go with that. But what I also say is the difference will be is the cost of a movement in comparison to what we've replaced. I mean, there'll be the difference to pay, and we don't have any problems. The customer fully understands. Obviously 9 out of 10 times they're going to go for the cheap situation, but then if anything goes wrong, you don't lose out. So, you know, that's the way I'll do it. Anyway, getting back to this, this can happen to any clock really. You see the movements in this centre, you know, the arbor. Well, obviously that can cause depth and problems. Okay, it's not so bad, but you know, there is movement there. And also that can happen to any spring barrel that you get. You know, it can be on this side. Often you see on the older clocks, there's a bit of movement in, you've got to rebush the barrel. Now, on these barrels, you can't really rebush them. Well, not easily anyway. I mean, you know, I wouldn't fancy it. When I do repairs, I like them to be, you know, done well, solid and feel right to me. But these, they're just too, the metal's crap really, isn't it? Let's face a few facts, like many modern stuff, like modern tools you buy from the Chinesian variety, you know, may as well throw them in the bin after you use them, or they're that rough you can't use them. I know they have the saying, the bad workman blames his tools, I mean, but I think there's some truth in it now. I mean, I don't think it's anything to do with bad workmanship. I think it's purely and simply to do with the tools are absolutely so poor quality, it's unbelievable. Anyway, getting back, rambling off. Yeah, so you need to look at this here on these barrels. If there's any movement really in there, just that, you know, and you can pretty much see it, it needs changing. Now, with Hermli stuff and of the likes, I mean, there's others, but, you know, I find Hermli are the one really. You have to buy the whole barrel with the spring. It's simpler to do that. Where normally a spring would cost you probably a tenner. By the time you've paid everything out on this, it's going to cost you 30 quid. And you've got the spinning barrel and stuff like that. The better type are the ones with the steel lid. Now, as you can see, I'm moving that and there's very little in it. There's very, very little there. You know, but again, you've got your numbers on, replace the barrel with the spring in. And incidentally, it virtually works out for the cost of a movement and the spring barrel. So say you, for instance, you replace the 3 spring barrels on that clock, it's on a Hermli clock, it's going to cost you over 100 quid to buy the materials. Okay, Well, add another 120 quid to that, or 130 quid to that on the, the lower end ones. I don't mean, the ones with triple chiming and stuff like that. That's a bit different, really. There's a bit more in them, but the basic standard, there's absolutely millions of them about. For another sort of 140 quid, you can buy a brand new movement, a whole movement. You got the springs, you got the chain, you got the springs, sorry, not the chains, that's a grandfather. You got the springs, you got everything in it. I mean, work it out for yourself. I mean, what you think is sensible to do. I know it's a bit of a saving, but, you could buy the spring barrels and you could look at the movements and it looks fantastic and it's great. But, the movement's as old as the spring barrels, isn't it? So, as I say, we always err on the side of a movement, but we give the customer the choice and we explain everything to them. I mean, we say, look, this is, just like I'm explaining it here now, this is how we'll do this. We're totally transparent. That's it. Here you go. This is what we've got in front of us. This is what we can do. And this is what we suggest. And, but the rest invariably is up to you. And then if there's any problem in the future, the customer can't come back and complain. Most definitely, though, with Hermli movements, they do have a shelf life, really. I mean, there's no way that what they're made out of and the quality of them, there's no way that they're going to be like your old Winterhalter and Hofmeier, Lenz Kirsch, your grandfather clocks. The quality just isn't there. The quality just isn't there with them, to be honest with you. They really are, they're just not, they're not the best. They're not the best. I mean, I understand some Hermli clocks have been around for a long time, and I do get it, but, we've got to understand a clock moves so slowly, and, certainly the time side of things, that, it's going to take a long time to wear it out. I mean, if you drove your car around the block at 5 miles an hour all the time, I mean, it probably wouldn't do it totally good, but, I don't think things would wear out for a long time. And so you've got that situation with the Hermli clocks. Kyenja, find them to be better quality, quite difficult, expensive, very expensive clock movement. We ordered one from America just a couple of weeks ago. It's due to thing, but we've just had to pay £136 import tax on that. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money to add on to the job, and that's it. And plus the, your time and you're messing about. I mean, being honest with you, I think if I can't sort of repair the likes of Kyenja in the future, simply, with servicing and stuff like that, and maybe the spring barrels, although the spring barrels on them are 3 times as expensive as the spring barrels on Hermli, so you work it out. I mean, I think the better quality, so hopefully you'd be down to replacing the springs in them, and you can get them. I mean, spring replacements is spring replacements, isn't it? It's not a it's not going to have Kyenja specialised springs realistically, is it? It's going to be a spring replacement. I mean, but yeah, I just thought I'd point this out with Hermli clocks. I mean, pretty much, I mean, you can get the springs for things, but to be honest with you, we just buy the complete barrel and change it. This is a reasonable barrel. There's not much movement there, but as you see there's plenty. And as I often say to people, 0.5 millimetre of movement in anywhere in a clock like that, what shouldn't be there, is like cutting a foot extra of a piece of wood off with the joiner, isn't it? I mean, we're in that position, aren't we? Depth and problems, and that's it really. So yeah, Hermli, err on the side of caution always when you're repairing them. Be honest with the customer, tell them the truth. If they don't want it done, if they don't want to go along with anything, or they're not happy with it, just give them it back. That's my advice to you. Give them it back and move on to something better. There's plenty of good work out there. As I say, we do these because there's a bit of money in them, really. It just pays a few bills. But other than that, our main concentration on is the antique clocks. the older stuff, the better quality, the better made stuff. That's our real game. Anyway, this is John from Clock Repairs Merseyside. I hope that's been of some help to you. And yeah, you have a great day. Thank you. Bye bye.